Hey everybody, it's Adam, live and in person for you. Hey everybody, it's Adam, wonder who he'll interview. Call me Adam.com.
Jasper Cole is known as Hollywood's bad guy, but behind that bad boy image is one of Hollywood's nicest, most hardworking guys I know. So without further ado, I am so happy to welcome back Jasper Cole. Hi, Jasper.
Hey Adam, how are you?
Good, how are you?
It's so nice to see your actual face.
It is, yes, because the last time we spoke for my podcast, we were not on video.
Right. We were
So,
just on the old audio.
yes, so it's great to see you, and you look great, and
Thank you. You
uh,
too. You
thank
look
you.
younger than ever. Forget the 45 ring lights that we have on
Right,
right now. I
exactly.
don't think I've seen you since the election.
No,
I mean,
no.
I know I'm not
We
hijacking the interview, but I mean, so much has changed, right, since
Yes.
then. Maybe that's why we look good. We're not
Oh my God, so much
completely,
more.
ready to run out of the country.
Exactly. I mean, I was actually just saying to my boyfriend the other day that, I feel so much more relaxed on a daily basis as compared to when we had our previous president
Mhm.
because I mean Biden, he's just so calm and
Chill.
yes, and so like and the way he is including everybody in his rhetoric and it's just I do feel more relaxed on a daily basis than when that other one was in office.
Well, just having that other one off Twitter, just
Yes.
not hearing from him, it's just been a shift, just a seismic shift in the universe, you
Yes.
know?
Because also
Yeah,
now when they speak about the president, it's going to be something positive. And
positive.
I mean, I have to say he's taking really great steps, I think, so
I
far
think so.
in, you know, um, combating the virus. And,
Mhm.
he seems to be on track for his, what is that, 100 million vaccinated
100
in 100
million
days.
in 100 days, 100 doses in 100 days, 100
Yes.
million in 100. Yeah,
Something like that. But he seems to be on track with his goal, and, I mean, that's how it should have been from the start instead of having somebody who's like, "This doesn't exist, blah, blah, blah," you know? It's nice to have somebody in the White House that, actually knows what they're doing.
it's confident.
Yes.
And
We have so much to talk about, so I think we should just get right to it.
let's go. I'm
All
ready.
right. So, let's start with I love opening my interviews this way now. So, X amount of years from now, when somebody mentions the name Jasper Cole, what do you want people to say about you or think about you?
Well, I think first off, I'd love if they said, I was a really kind person, that I was a good person, that I helped a lot of people, that I was not your stereotypically narcissistic actor. But in terms of my real life, I'd like to be thought of that way. In my career, it'd be great if they just said, he was a good character actor. I liked some of his work, and it lives on, I guess, even
Well,
if I'm dead.
it definitely will live on.
Thank you. Well, that's a good thing about acting. Yeah, that good or bad, the work follows us.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. And now, you have been working actually quite a bit during the pandemic. You've been very lucky to be actually getting work as an actor.
yeah,
Can you tell us some of the projects that you're working on?
yeah. Well, the first job I did back in August, I shot a film called The Fall, FALL, with Jeffrey Dean Morgan from The Walking Dead, and the director Scott Mann, who did Heist, the De Niro film with Jeffrey Dean. He and Jeffrey Dean Morgan have sort of a nice history together, and it's just a five-character movie. And it was my first job during the pandemic, and the whole thing was shot outside, which was amazing. And it's a really a Hitchcockian sort of story about two young girls that are trapped high up somewhere, and I play this nefarious character that comes around that they hope is going to help them escape, and you can imagine. Yeah, and then I just got added to the cast of the series The Family Business on BET.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the third season, so I was added. I'm playing Corey Black. Corey is a shady biker character who's part of the L.C. Duncan, played by the amazing Ernie Hudson,
Mm-hmm.
part of his underground world, because they have an upstanding front going on with the family, and then they have an underground world. So I'm part of this underground world. But I mean, to be reoccurring at this point in my career is so exciting. So
Yeah.
I'm in 3 episodes for sure, possibly more this season. And I think I'll be back next season.
That's so great. And what's it like coming into a show 3 seasons in? I mean, the cast is like already has their flows going, and then here you are, new to the cast.
Busting through. Yeah, it's interesting. Every day for me when I started a job is always like the first day of school. I
Hmm.
don't know if you remember back in school, like generally for me, because I'll just do like guest spots, or like I'll never see these people again. I might do 2 days and leave. Um, the interesting about this is such a huge cast, and
Hmm.
it's really a soap opera. So there's so many storylines and probably people I'll never meet in the
Hmm.
cast, but just the core group of guys that I'm working with, they were so welcoming. And uh, like I said, I can't say enough about Ernie Hudson and Darren Henson, Robert Picardo from Star Trek, who plays Bernie in the series. I get to work with him again in a couple weeks. Just these great veteran, character actors who've been around forever like me, and just so grateful to have a job, basically, especially during COVID. The COVID thing is pretty amazing because we have to be quarantined and kept separate, and we have
Hmm.
to live in I call it the COVID condo. Um, but it seems to be the only way to really do it is to keep everyone, once you enter, they call it the bubble,
Hmm.
where you've done all your testing, you're clear, that you get tested on the set, and then you don't leave and no one comes in. So yeah,
Wow.
pretty cool. But then like once you go away and you're not there anymore, I'll have to do the 4 test again leading up to the first day of shooting. Then you're back in the bubble. You've
Mm.
been cleared, and it's just it's bizarre, but I kind of think going forward it's going to be better in some ways. I think
Hmm.
just for germs in general,
Yes.
it's no more of the craft service with the nuts that lay out there all day long, and the pretzels that have been laying there. So everything is packaged, and
Hmm.
we're kept in certain zones, and we stay in our trailer. And but me, because I have a lot of producing and managed stuff going on. It's great
Yes.
for me because I'm just in my trailer doing my other stuff, um, getting work done. So
That's
it's been
great.
great.
I mean, I hope so. I hope a lot of these protocols do stay in place going forward after the pandemic. Is the actual filming any different than pre-pandemic?
No, that's what's been great. Like once you get to the set, you take everyone takes off their mask. The crew, everybody around you has their mask on when
Hmm.
we're on the set. But to your point, no, the filming is you just forget about it, and it's
Hmm.
just like normal. Well, the old normal.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great. And I do love how, like you just mentioned, you do you're a producer, you're a writer, you also manage artists. I
Yeah, I
know.
have 25 clients, and we just added a literary division where we're repping writers, directors, and producers. I handle most of the theatrical, but J.R. Rosenberg and Lance Paul run the PR and now the literary department. I'm hands-on because I'm a control freak, but Lance and I produced Kombucha Cure together, a film I did last January. The whole idea is that we kind of keep it all in house
Mhm, mhm.
and work, with the same people over and over again, work with our clients. So um, it's just been, it's great to be able to work with people that I've loved for years. And not that we're not bringing in new people too, but that's been the best thing about the pandemic. On the producing side, I think people were trapped
Hmm.
at home. They couldn't make excuses for I can't read your scripts or I, you know what I mean? Like really, because what else are you doing? Like you can't lie and say, well, I'm going out of town. So I think we got a lot of stuff done. I'm working on 3 unscripted projects that have all been optioned. Um, One is a true crime series,
Uh-huh.
uh, and with Charlene Tilton, and then I'm also working on another unscripted with Charlene Tilton, her daughter Cherish Lee, and Johnny Lee, the uh, the singer who is Cherish's father, and
Yes.
that is set in Nashville. And then I have a design show with a African American gay black designer in Atlanta that I'm working with the amazing Blake Swerdoff, who does Trisha Yearwood's Country Kitchen. He does The Kitchen on
Hmm.
Netflix. Wonderful gay producer, lives in the Hamptons. You know,
Wow.
great guy.
Oh, I
Blake
can't wait for that show.
Yeah, they're 3 totally different unscripted shows, but we're working also. The first 2 I'm working with Buck Productions in Toronto, and I do love Canadians.
Yes.
They're so un-Hollywood.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, their word is their word,
Hmm.
and they're very loyal. And it's just been a really good situation. I'm blessed.
Yes, you're very lucky to be able to work so much, especially during this time. And I mean, for people out there who are actors, but they also want to do other things, what advice would you have for them?
Yeah, I say the beauty of where we are in the business right now, especially with social media, everyone has a camera. You can shoot movies, you can shoot TV shows like the Real Housewives
Mhm.
last season. Most of the Orange County Housewives was shot on iPhones last
Mhm.
season. So I tell people just do your own content, and you don't have to come to New York. You don't have to come to LA. Atlanta is Hollywood second now, South. And I just think it's an amazing time for people to work wherever they're at. And now even with us veterans, there's no more in-person auditions.
Mhm.
Everything like last night I had to do a commercial taping for a cowboy. My husband Dennis has really become I mean, he's a DP, at reading partner,
Mhm.
he's holding the camera. He's just, yeah. So, it's been, I hope I never have to go into a casting office again. I
Mm.
mean, I feel bad. I don't want casting directors to lose their jobs, and they're not because they're doing it on Zoom also, a lot of it.
Yes.
But it's great. No more driving, trying to find parking. And me, I live out 100 miles outside the city now, so it's nice not to have to always drive in.
Yes, and it probably in a way also makes it easier for the casting directors because they could see a lot more people from all over the world and they don't have to juggle, oh, this person's coming all the way from wherever and this one's coming from here and
Yep.
you just submit and they get to enjoy the casting process from the comfort of their own home or their office, wherever
And
they
so
may
many
be.
producers I've talked to have said, they don't have to take that time out of shooting anymore to go hold a session.
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, the self-taping had started happening almost a year before the pandemic.
Mm.
It was all kind of moving that direction, but
Mhm.
now the pandemic really kind of pushed it. And I think they're finding it saving money.
Mhm.
They're not renting casting spaces. Well, I think corporate America is finding that as well. Like so many people work well from home
Yes.
that
I think a lot of corporations are going to see they don't really need the office space that they used to, or they can have a very scaled down version of it. I don't know if everybody's going to really want to work from home
right.
and we're able to open up more, but
Mhm.
I
It's
mean,
a nice option to have.
well, let's I think I have a few other questions we should get
Sure.
to. And not that I don't enjoy
Oh, listen,
this
you and I can
conversation.
talk all day. We're
I
just like,
know. I know. But I do want to find out some lessons that you have learned throughout your
Okay,
life.
sure.
Um, so what's one mistake you have made early in your career that has become a life lesson for you?
Yeah, well, one thing I learned was, and I say this to all actors, if you can sort of know what your type is, decide what type you are, and I know it changes with age and all that, but I always say early on, if because I thought I could play everything and tried to play everything, and then finally when I sort of realized I think I'll go this, this bad guy route, whatever that is, it changed for me, but that took some time. So I guess it really wasn't a mistake, but I think I could have saved maybe some time
Mhm.
on that. Yeah, and then also I'm big on this thing about, living in the moment, like not saying when I make it kind of thing,
Mhm.
like just enjoy the journey. I definitely did not, I wasn't fully present a lot of the times when I was working because I thought something next bigger was coming and this wasn't good enough. And, now looking back, it's like, we're all sort of making it along the way. We don't realize it because we keep thinking there's going to be that big moment. But if you talk to Ernie Hudson or any big star, they're just working along the way. And so no one's really made it, you know?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there are people who have I mean, they have a blockbuster movie and then you never hear from them again. So I don't know, did they make it because they had that big blockbuster movie, or, you know, but then they never worked again. So it's like,
And then you realize, they could have made a choice to, a lot of times the actors forget, it is possible people don't want to just stay acting forever. Like
right.
they can go off and do other things in their life. So sometimes these like whatever happened to specials, and they
Yes.
always make it sound like it's a bad thing that the actor or actress is no longer in the business. I mean,
Mhm.
oftentimes, truly, and yes, sometimes it's things didn't go well, but a lot of times they make different life choices that they take them in a different direction.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a lot of, like one hit wonders. You're like, well, what happened? Some of them decided, you know, they got their hit and now they want to do something else.
And these one hit wonders, they can make a career. They have a long career doing that
Yes.
one hit. I mean,
Y-
Stacy Q and let boom boom boom. Let's go back to the. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
Paul something. I mean,
Yeah,
they tour all over the world, and so I think you can live off that one hit, especially if
exactly.
you wrote it. If
Right.
they wrote it, that's the key.
Right. Have you ever been fired from a show?
I've never been fired. I've been replaced, and
Uh,
I wasn't replaced because of anything I don't think so. Anything I did. They always go, we're going in a different direction, which means not your direction,
right.
Jasper. Um, but then when I saw the person that they cast, we were totally different.
Mhm.
That was way back on a pilot, like 3 or 4 days into it, though. But I remember getting a call from I've been with the same agent for 29 years, so
Wow.
she's passed on, but her daughter takes over. But Nancy called me, and she's from Tennessee, and I remember she was like, "Well, hey, baby," she's like, "Well, I just wanted to let you know you don't have to work tomorrow on whatever it was." I'm dying to say the name because it was a huge hit, but I learned the lesson not to do it because it came back to haunt me. So,
Mm.
and I go, "Oh, we're not shooting tomorrow." She's like, "Well, you're not shooting. They just think you look too young in the part, and it's not working on camera, at the time." Um, and then years later, not that so long ago, when I used to work on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno, I used to be part of like the Tonight Show players, and we would do comedy skits or whatever. I went in to do one. A lot of the stuff we would tape never would make the show that night.
Mm.
But we did this one spot where I was supposed to be this sort of creepy guy stalking the band leader of the show. And in the rehearsals, I Jay Leno made this joke and he said, "Oh my God, who's that creepy Jesus looking Charles Manson guy?" Or something like that. Well, I guess the NBC people, the legal, they didn't want Jesus Christ associated with Charles Manson. So I was replaced. And then when I saw the guy, they hired like a ginger, all American looking guy. So those are my two times in 35 years of being replaced.
Wow.
Oh, but Adam, so I tell the story. What happened though at that time, somehow my agent forgot to tell me. So imagine this. Okay, get ready. So I show back up the next morning, I show up at Burbank Studios. I know the guard. I was just, hey, Jasper. I go in. I go down the hallway to where my dressing room was, and I noticed there's a different name on the door, which didn't mean that much because it wasn't like I was anybody. I mean, they could have moved me down the hall. Anyway, I go in, I put my stuff down, I see this other guy, I say hi. And then Scott, the casting director, I don't know, I think the AD saw me in the hallway, and it was Scott, the casting director, who had to come down. He's like, "Hey, Jasper," he's like, "Did Nancy not call you? Yes, did you talk to Nancy last night?" And I go, "No, no." He goes, "Oh man, I'm so sorry." He goes, "They cut you from that. They're replacing you from that. I swear to God." It was like that walk of shame. I mean, it was fine. We laughed or whatever, but
Uh-huh.
then it's like I gather my stuff and I'm going back down the hall past the wardrobe. Well, they're like, "What?" But I didn't see any of the other players that were going to be in the skit. But
Uh-huh.
that's just one of those things. What are you going to do?
Right, right. But that
I
is a
think
funny story.
Nancy thought that her assistant called me. No one called me,
Oh.
and I showed up. But then I went back after that and worked some more. So it
Oh,
wasn't,
that's good.
yeah,
That's good.
yeah. Anyway, that's a
Oh
that's one
my
of those stories.
Yes. Yes. Oh, you know what we didn't get to talk about at all? And I always like to plug this when I interview you, is your own podcast, One on One with Jasper
Oh,
Cole.
thank you.
We haven't got a chance to talk about it at all. So in regards to like what do you want people to know about the show? What do you like doing? What do you like about what do you like?
Would I like doing it?
Yeah, why do you like doing it? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We just started I'm in my 10th year with some kind of show. This particular one is 6 years now, one on one with Jasper Cole. You know what it is? I started originally because I wanted to show the real personality of myself. So it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't just always the bad, creepy, weird guy. Um, I love people. I love interviewing people. I love politics, actors, directors, or whatever. Now I've been able to really focus on like the homeless situation, and different things I'm passionate about. So I have this great co-host, Ralph Cole Jr.
Yes. I was gonna say you also get to host it with the
Yeah,
amazing,
I mean,
amazing.
the thing I missed, unfortunately, because of COVID. I was always in studio live, with people face to face. So now we've just been we're audio only. So it's I miss that.
Mm-hmm.
Now Ralph and we will FaceTime each other while we're doing the audio. So at least I'm seeing him.
Yes.
Um, but just the people Ralph and I have, like you, the people you get to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had Sam Harris on the other day, a couple of shows back, and it's like, you know,
Mm.
I, I've been a Sam Harris fan forever. When would I normally ever cross paths with Sam Harris? So
Right.
uh,
Right.
just I just love showing that other side of myself in him. I love doing it, and so
Mhm.
so we're live on Thursday nights. Right now we're on Blog Talk Radio, but it goes over to all the Spotify and all the
Right.
places.
Apple Podcasts. Yes.
Yeah, but if they want to hear it live, it's Thursdays at 6 Pacific time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just Blog Talk Radio / Jasper Cole, and that'll take you right to the live link, or just go to jaspercole.com and there's a link for the show there.
It's such a fun show. I mean,
Thank you.
you've talked to, I mean, so many people. I mean, it's sort of like a who's who of Hollywood that you get to interview. But just you and Ralph together. I mean, I could listen to you guys. I mean, forever. You
Thank
have
you.
such great chemistry.
But Adam, it's interesting. Like this as well. Like when Ralph and I started that 10 years ago, we never had done it. Chemistry. It just you either have it or you don't. And
Yes.
you can't really fake it, and that's why we don't talk before. Like nothing's planned with us.
Mhm.
You know, we just, Ralph and I do this thing. I'm like the bad guy. Like people who don't know us think I'm like being bullying him or whatever. But trust me, he's usually the one in charge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you. It's been a blessing, especially during COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say, like, I'm just so happy that I have my podcast. It gives me like a focus, a direction, and I mean,
Creative outlet.
yeah. Oh my God. I mean, I could talk to you forever, but I feel like we do have to wrap things up.
I know. Thank you, Adam.
You're
Well, listen,
welcome.
I'm just everyone look for the third season of the Family Business. I think it's on BET Plus, the streaming, and I think it probably this season comes out in the summer.
Okay.
Um, Kombucha Cure, the movie I did in January of 2020, is now being broken into a limited TV series.
Oh.
So that hopefully will be coming soon. The fall, I'm finishing. I did a scripted podcast called The Church of Mike, which is going to launch very soon. Keep your eye out for that. Tune into One on One with Jasper Cole, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, all that interweb stuff.
I love it. You summed everything up for me perfectly.
Well, I don't
yes.
want you to work too hard.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
Congratulations on everything.
that. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
And I always love talking to you, and we will do this again very soon.
we will.
Yes.
Be safe, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
He'll get the dirt and the scoop and the story, for he happens to be in the know. Just ask anybody who's Adam. Adam lives for the business of show. Call me Adam.com.